Ladies and gentlemen, please join us by the fountain for opening remarks.
Okay, shall we start? All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Trudy Bellardo-Hahn, and I am the president of the Smithsonian Women's Committee, speaking for all 187 members of the Women's Committee. I am delighted to welcome you to this show. We hold this show to offer you exquisitely made handcrafts for sale that you can wear and furnish your home. The net proceeds from this show will go entirely to benefit the Smithsonian museums, the research and education facilities, and the National Zoo. I want to make a special shout out to some of the Smithsonian family who are with us this evening. Please wave your arm as I read your names. And I want to begin with Laurel Park. There you are. She is the Deputy Secretary and Chief Operating Officer of the Smithsonian. And some of our Smithsonian Museum directors are with us, such as Cynthia Chavez Lamar, who is the Director of the National Museum of the American Indian, Miriam Springwells, who is in charge of the Smithsonian Institution Traveling Exhibition Services, that we know as SITES, Lisa Sasaki, who's the interim director of the Smithsonian American Women's History Museum. Andrea Harting, the director of the National Museum of American History. Also with us this evening are three of our friends from the Office of Advancement, Charlotte Gaither, John Perrell, and Frank Edwards. The Women's Committee is extremely grateful for their guidance and support. There is one more museum director, person from a museum from the National Zoo, but you'll meet her in a minute. So, a huge thank you to all of you for being with us this evening, including our donors and sponsors, our amazing craft artists, and the members of the Smithsonian Women's Committee. If you're a member of the Smithsonian Women's Committee, will you raise your hand now and wave? There you are. And especially to the chair of this beautiful show, the creative, indomitable, and tireless Susan Ballard. I'm going to turn over to you.
Welcome to Craft, Fashion, and Home. Good evening, my name is Susan Val, and I'm chair of this beautiful show. The Smithsonian Women's Committee is pleased to present the reimagining of the Fall Craft Show. We would like to introduce you to the elegant world of craft, homemade products. Along with our exquisite wearables, jewelry, and accessories, we feel that we are adding another layer of individualism to your life. The Smithsonian Women's Committee's twin passions are the promotion of handmade goods in America and our dedication to supporting the work of the Smithsonian scientists, exhibition planners, and researchers of this great institution. A grant that I proposed a few years ago that was happily funded was one from one of the scientists at the Museum of Natural History. She was studying deep-sea creatures that could someday lead to medical and commercial discoveries. Pink slime from a 2-foot-long worm, who knew? Each dollar raised is thoughtfully given to grant proposers in a competitive presentation in December. We wish we could fund all the grant proposals, but we are limited to what we are able to raise through our craft shows. Please support our two missions by coming to the shows, purchasing from our artists, following our social media accounts, and on our funding. I would like to now welcome Susan Murray. Dr. Murray is a board-certified veterinarian as well as the program director of the Global Health Program. She also serves as the SCBI's Chief Wildlife Veterinary Medical Officer. She leads an interdisciplinary effort to combat health issues of endangered species. She's a great friend of the Smithsonian Women's Committee and a huge asset to the Institute itself. Please welcome Dr. Murray.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Susan. It's a huge honor for me. As you might be able to tell, I love the Women's Committee. I was begging if I could just be here to say a few words. for several reasons. I love who the Women's Committee is, what they do, and what they support. As someone who's applied for a lot of grants over the years, I can tell you it's not an easy thing to get. And when you first are interviewed by the Women's Committee, in walks a group of highly educated, really bright, careful but really kind women. And the first time I was interviewed by the Women's Committee, I didn't know what to expect. I was a little bit taken aback by all the really brilliant questions that came. So I really honored that. I felt like people made a lot of effort and chose grants wisely. And I want one quick example I wanted to give. Over the years, we've received grants that we've applied for grants to help cheetahs in Namibia, pandas in China, elephant, rhino, and a lot of training programs. One of the things that we feel strongly about is wherever we work to help save endangered wildlife, we want to make sure we're providing and growing that support for folks to do in country. So Women's Committee has funded several different training programs for training Indonesian veterinarians on how to take care of orangutans, to Kenyan veterinarians on how to take care of rhino. And the example I wanted to give, I just came back from Kenya the night before last, and I visited Impala Research Center. Impala was started in the late 1990s with 3 buildings, 2 of which were built by the Women's Committee. And there's plaques there that say, funded by the Women's Committee. Yeah, right? Yeah, I took a picture of it. We're going to post it online. And now it is this huge international organization funded largely by Princeton University with 8 different laboratories, NSF grants, USAID grants. We hold a lot of international trainings. So not only is it an important area for Kenya, it's a hub for East Africa and hopefully all of Africa. So I wanted to just, I'm keeping my remarks short, I wanted to just leave everybody with that example. And Heidi and I were talking about it too, like, isn't it great when hi Heidi, thank you, when Women's Committee they spend a lot of time picking the right grants, but they pick ones that are going to grow and prosper. So we plant those seeds, right? We water it, and then 20 years later, we're like, oh my goodness, like, so anyways, we were just in Kenya and talking about the Women's Committee and how fortunate we were. So those are the tidings I'm bringing to you. Thank you so much for being here. Go out and buy. I just purchased these set of earrings just a few minutes ago. So, good. Yeah. So please buy and support the Women's Committee. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You guys rock. You're just the best. Thanks, everybody. Is that all?